This video is sponsored by Sakurako. Alright, so we got a pretty crazy chapter here. A lot is happening and the story is really progressing forward. Like, two major story points are happening in this chapter. But let's get into it, because the chapter starts with a huge beam of light pouring out of all 10 colonies across Japan. So this actually looks really cool. It looks like the diagram that we saw in chapter 147, except like literally happening on the globe. So I guess this means we're coming to real time in the story now, because we were kind of like 2 days in the past before, following Yuji's group after we had left Kajaku and Tengen. And this is happening because the colonies now have enough cursed energy in them to begin quote unquote sending the citizens of Japan to the other side, which I think we see happening in this chapter, like the big barrier passing through everyone, and it's noted as like shade covering them, I think, maybe. But now everyone in Japan is essentially primed to merge with Tengen. We are back to the present after the battle of Yuki Choso versus Kenjaku. Maki meets up and informs Yuji and Megumi that Choso told them Yuki was defeated and then Tengen was caught by Kenjaku, but they have secured the back of the prison realm. So yeah, this is wild too. Maki is back with the group here along with Choso. Like, Choso survived the battle against Kenjaku, which we assume that he did, but he has the back of the prison realm. Like, I guess Tengen gave it to him before he passed out or whatever happened with Tengen. But this is amazing because this is where Gojo is. Like, all they need to do now is have Angel use her ability, which stops curse techniques or extinguishes curse techniques or whatever. And that, in theory, should free Gojo from the prison realm. And I'm not sure why they're not doing it. Like, unfortunately, they're not doing that in this chapter, and I don't know why. Like, I haven't been able to read all the dialogue, so I'm sure they explain why they're not immediately doing it. But it's just kind of weird that they now finally have the back of the prison realm and Angel, and they're not doing anything. Like, granted, they are making a lot of plans in this chapter, but you figure that first and foremost they should release Gojo and then continue with their plan making. They wonder why the assimilation hasn't yet started and discuss which rules to add first, and end up deciding to add rule 4 first, the transfer of players from the colony. But going more into that, Maki decides not to add free entry and exit and communication rule for now, because even though they add it as a rule, there's a possibility that the barrier's properties might still reject them. Thus, they proceed with rule 4, substitution of players from the culling game. So we've been hearing about this for a while now, the future rules that they plan on adding, and free entry and exit and communication were the ones that were proposed for a while now. But instead of that, they decided to go with a rule that allows players to leave the culling game in exchange for another player coming in to substitute for them. So this was like Megumi's big plan to get his sister Tsumiki out of the culling game. Like, have her leave the culling game and have someone take her place. But first, let's talk about the sponsor of this video, Sakurako. Sakurako is a monthly Japanese snack subscription box. You'll receive 20 traditional and authentic artisan Japanese snacks, including Japanese tea and one special Japanese tableware with your box every month. Sakurako helps in partnering with local Japanese snack makers to continue to share Japanese culture and traditions that have been passed down for over 100 years. They also come with these great little booklets that give you information on all of the snacks and items in the box, along with information on Japan itself. This month's box is Valentine's Bliss. Sakurako is partnering with the Osaka prefectural government to introduce you to Osaka's easy to love treats and tea in a special designed box. Experience artisan Japanese treats like the strawberry dorayaki, chocolate mochi, and kanako dumplings with a loved one or by yourself. This month's kitchenware is kinchidori soup bowl. So yeah, since the theme is Valentine's Day, this is a perfect gift for your significant other. We've really enjoyed the box this month, and we tried the yuzu kuzu. It pairs well with actually everything in the box. We also tried the chocolate strawberries, and these are like the perfect Valentine's Day treat. For a little salty, we tried the Mane Kaneko Senbai. Really crunchy and a great flavor on this one. We also tried the kombucha rice cracker, which is also a nice salty treat, but it also has a very vague hint of strawberry in it. And then we also tried the kinako dumplings. These things have a very unique texture and flavor. It's really hard to describe these. So guys, if you'd like to try your very own Sakurako box, as well as getting an awesome gift for your significant other for this Valentine's Day, check out my link in the description and make sure you use code Zhoniin. That way you're gonna get $5 off your box. Thanks guys. Kogani adds a new rule of substituting a player from the outside of the colony, but on the condition of spending an extra 100 points on each transaction. Okay, so it's successfully been made, and you just need to spend 100 points to withdraw a player from the culling game to have somebody from outside of the colony come in to replace them. Ijichi has been chosen as the substitute for getting Tsumiki out of the culling game. He narrates an old story on how Gojo saved him for becoming a lousy sorcerer, but Gojo was quite harsh on him, so Ichiji is like the main auxiliary manager that we've come to know. He was way more prevalent in season 1, but he's swapping with Tsumiki here. And we're actually seeing Tsumiki like real time in the story, I think, for the first time. Like, we've only seen her in flashbacks and just, you know, being in a coma in the hospital. Now she's like in the story meeting up with all the characters here. Like, this is pretty crazy. Like, them finding and meeting Tsumiki and getting her out of the culling game was also one of the biggest storylines. And it's like Megumi's main storyline here, and it's finally coming to fruition. Tsumiki rejoins with Megumi. Yuji and Hana gangs up to tease Megumi for being all cold-hearted in front of his sis, but after entering a barrier, Tsumiki teleported correctly to where Megumi and company are, which is a bit sus. So Tsumiki is joining the group because instead of using the existing rule of getting her out of the game, Tsumiki all of a sudden orders the Kogani to add another rule so that she can freely enter and exit the barriers. And everyone's shocked, and Megumi is horrified. And he asks, "You, who are you?" And Tsumiki has like the standard like sus face on, looking all weird. But she was able to do this because Megumi transferred 100 points to her. And like I said, instead she used it to be able to move freely between the barriers. So yeah, that's the big question. Like, who is Tsumiki? And in my opinion, Tsumiki has always been sus. I don't think she was ever like a legitimate stepsister to Megumi. I'm pretty sure this was Kenjaku's plan the whole time. Yeah, go figure. Kenjaku is also tied to another storyline. I'm pretty sure he's tied to all of the main storylines in this series. And I'll go way more into this in my review on Sunday. But the main thing here is that Kenjaku basically made Tsumiki the way that he made Yuji, I guess. Like, her whole purpose was to be a part of the culling game, to be a useful tool in it for Kenjaku, but also to be tied to Megumi, because I guess Kenjaku needs like the 10 Shadows user involved in his master plan. So that's how he was able to get Megumi involved. It's also very possible that her main purpose was to be the game master. And I'm sure some people have speculated about that before, but I'm not entirely sure myself if like an actual person can be the game master at this point. I'm pretty sure we were told it was the Kogani, right? And I think the Kogani is kind of like Jujutsu AI. And I think the only other time that the game master was mentioned was just simply that when Kenjaku was making binding vows to form the culling game, one of them was that he himself could not be the game master. So I guess that means that somebody can, and maybe that's why he made Tsumiki, so that she could be the game master slash bait for Megumi. But yeah, I mean, obviously there's way more to it, and like I said, I'll talk about it on Sunday. But that's pretty much it for the video, guys. Let me know what you thought about this one in the comments, and if you liked the video, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.